Hello and welcome to the Ferret Business Podcast. I am your host, Yemmy the Ferret, aka Yemmy, aka DJ Yemmy. And with me today on the podcast, I am joined by the king of waifus. It's Timrulezzz with 3 Z's. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello. Oh, shit.
All of his links will be down below and in the end screen, end cards, whatever you call them. So make sure you check him out on Twitter and YouTube. Timothy, how are you today?
How are you?
Oh, I'm pretty good. Not too bad. Just waking up here and getting going.
Well, that's good. How's Shrek treating you lately?
Shrek has been treating me very well. He's very nice. He recently gifted me a candle, earwax candle, so that was very nice of him.
What?
But on the subject of waifus, Tim, can you define waifus to people who don't know what they are?
Well, to keep it kind of simple, a waifu is basically just a lady from anime that you like way more than the others. But you can also just use it in a general way to say that you're talking about an anime girl, but narrow it down. And when they say waifu, they mean like that one anime girl they like a lot.
So who would your waifu be then? Your number one?
What a lot of people would call blasphemy. I don't have one.
Oh.
I have 2. One of them would be Sistine Fibel, which is a human who wears cat ears. And then the other one would be Vanilla from Nicopara. I don't know her last name, so yeah. But she's an actual cat girl.
How did you get into anime and that culture?
It's a few years ago when I met somebody new in my class. Like, we had a lot of new people in class, and I don't know how we got on the topic, but he once just said, you should start watching One Piece. And I'm like, I guess I will. And then
That's the one with the pirates, right? It's and Luffy, right?
Yeah, with Luffy.
Yeah, I used to watch that when I was younger. Back in the night.
Those were the days,
Yeah.
right? I started watching that, and then at the same time, I started watching one of my all-time favorites, The 7 Deadly Sins, and I just couldn't get enough. And soon I started watching more anime than the friend that recommended them to me.
The student became the master.
The funny thing is, he still won't acknowledge that.
Oh.
He still thinks he's better than me as a weeb.
Oh, a weeb.
Oh, yes.
So you consider yourself a weeaboo?
Boo, a weeb.
Oh, just a weeb, not a weeaboo.
Weeaboos are bad.
But a weeb is good?
You don't want to be a normie, then yes.
So what's the main difference between a weeaboo and a weeb?
Small difference, actually. Like a weeb, I'll start by explaining that and go off from there. A weeb is just somebody who's very much into anime and Japanese culture in general, and who likes to just and all that and be busy with it. And a weeaboo is someone who's on the toxic side of it, and more like, if you don't watch anime, you're a scrub and all those things, you know.
Okay. Because I remember watching that Filthy Frank video a long time ago. Well, it's simply just called Weeaboos, and learning about the dark side of anime.
Oh, God.
So, what would you say if someone called you a weeaboo? Would you fight them then and there?
I would be like, hey. And I'll open my phone and I'll be like, do you see my background? My waifu, you want to fight, bitch? I'm sorry for swearing.
No, it's okay. You can swear on this podcast. It's fine. It's a jolly good time. So, what is your avatar then? What is that from an anime or?
That's from the 7 Deadly Sins. It's the main character.
Oh, okay. Yeah, is 7 Deadly Sins the Netflix original?
It started as a Netflix original, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen it in my on Netflix, but I've never clicked on it.
To be honest, it's quite good.
What's that one all about? Is it about hell or?
Um, it's tricky to explain really without giving too much away. But there's
Okay.
like this kingdom. I'll give it a try. There's like this kingdom, right? And you have all these special knights, which they call holy knights, and there's a special order called the Seven Deadly Sins, who are extremely powerful knights. But they are seen as how would you call it, bad people, because murdered a Grand Knight General or something like that.
Hmm.
And then someone searches for them. The kingdom is supposedly corrupt, and they want to save it. And then someone goes to search for the Seven Deadly Sins who've been running away because they were what is it, prosecuted?
Yeah.
Well, it's just one big fighting anime, and the main character is just such a OP lad.
Oh, kind of like One Punch Man.
Like that, but then with actual feelings and all that. Like um he has this demon side to him, right?
Hmm.
Like he can go demon, which is a little bit of a spoiler, but I mean it's not that bad. And he gets this fancy tattoos on his face, and he's supposedly way stronger all of a sudden. But the
Hmm.
thing is, like he never uses his full power because once he went berserk because he couldn't handle his feelings anymore, and he just wiped out like a very big part of the country. I'm gonna be vague on that because that would be an actual big spoiler.
Okay, that's fine. So, what character in all of anime would you say you closely relate to, or you relate to the most?
I'd say Meliodas for sure, which is the main character of the Seven Deadly Sins.
All right. Any reason behind it?
I think that from an objective standpoint, we all actually kind of resemble him. And then the subjective standpoint is that I have the same hair color. But that's beside the point, right? The main thing is like I said, he has his demon side. But aside from that, he's a very good lad, but his power can corrupt him. And I think that every single person in the world isn't just like you can see them as a bad person, but they actually have a good side, but they also have a bad side. Like it's tricky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I might have to maybe possibly someday turn it on.
Maybe someday.
But hey, I got a little game here for us to play on the subject of anime and waifus, and this game,
Oh.
uh, Tim is going to tell me if the character I name could be considered his waifu.
Oh, like a smash up pass.
Yeah, actually, yeah, perfect. It's waifu or
Oh, where's
pass.
the boost?
So if
We need
if
boost
if
for this, and then it will be like every time I say smash, I need to drink.
all right, so number one, are you ready, Tim? Number one, Lola Bunny.
I don't know who that is. Let me look up a picture.
Oh, from Space Jam. She's the opposite of Bugs Bunny.
Is it? That's a no.
That's a no. So a
Yeah, that's a
pass.
no.
That's a pass. All right. Number two, Elastigirl from The Incredibles.
How are these waifus?
Oh, they get better.
Let me look that up.
He's going to have to look up every single one.
To be honest, I'd say I'd pass.
Another pass.
Kindly
All right.
pass.
Next, the woman from the Bee movie.
You're not even naming this one.
I don't know her name.
I mean, um, now I have to type woman from B. Wait, actually, she's a B. Let me just. Wouldn't that hurt? To be honest.
She's not a bee.
Um.
The premise of the Bee movie is that Jerry Seinfeld, who plays the bee, falls in love with a human woman.
Oh. Oh.
Oh.
Now I have to look it up.
AKA bestiality.
The. I type in "woman from B" and it actually forms "woman from B" movie as a suggestion.
It's probably a very popular thing to search in Belgium.
That wouldn't surprise me. Just because I've been passing on the other two too bad. I'll give it a smash for sure.
Wow, all right. The Woman from B movie is waifu material.
Only close though, like on the edge.
All right, the next one, Tim. Fiona from Shrek.
This is a tricky one, isn't it? Because if I say no, you're probably gonna kill me. I'm legit gonna look up pictures of every single one just to be sure.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, do a little bit a studying, I should say.
Like I did on Welsh Toast, that is.
Yeah. Don't worry, I took out the Welsh toast questions.
Oh, thank you. Anything about Welsh Toast. So this is creepy, but you look it up, and first thing you see is a mask.
A mosque.
I don't want to see anybody run around with a mask of Fiona, to be honest.
Let's say the ogre.
This is a
The ogre version too.
What?
The ogre version of Fiona, not the human version.
yeah. To be honest, this is really tricky, but I think I'm gonna break your heart and give it a pass.
I respect that decision, albeit it's wrong. No, I'm just kidding.
I know that inside you're crying right now.
So we'll move on before I outwardly cry.
I feel bad now.
All right, so we have Officer Hops from Zootopia. Do you know who that is?
I have no clue. It's,
I should have known. I should have looked up
Hops.
Belgian famous animated characters.
Bunny.
Yeah, another bunny.
To be honest, she's cute. Smash.
All right, waifu material. Officer Hops. Everyone write that down now.
We should have them predict what I'm gonna say.
Yeah. Cast your votes now for number 6, Daphne from Scooby Doo.
Oh God. How does one spell that?
Daphine.
Scooby Doo. I'm tempted to type "Where are you?" after that.
Yeah. Scooby Dooby Doo.
I would, to be honest.
You would what? You cut out there for a second.
Microphone does that sometimes. I'd say smash.
Oh, all right. Wow, there you go. You've redeemed yourself from Fiona. No,
Got out there for a second.
all right. The next one, you're definitely gonna have to look up, I believe. If you ever seen the movie A Shark's Tale.
Never.
Okay, well it's Angie from A Shark's Tale.
Angie with I-E.
Yeah, I-E. Yep.
Shark still Angie. Is that a fish?
Yeah.
What kind of fetishes are you bestowing upon me, Mr. Ferret?
It's A Shark's Tale. It has Will Smith in it. Come on.
Does it?
Yeah, he plays the titular. I don't even know how to say it. He plays the fish who owns a car or works at a car wash, but it's for whales. And
That's awesome. I'm gonna say pass.
pass. All right. Well, I guess there's no shrimp on the Barbie today, huh?
That's a good one.
All right, number 8. You might have to look up this character. It's Player 2 from the YouTube channel Player 2.
Smash. Definite smash.
All right, Player 2.
What a legend he is.
Yeah, you heard it here. Player 2, waifu material.
Player 2 is not waifu material. He's the one and only waifu, to be honest.
All right.
Don't quote me on that.
You'll see him in your DMs later. No, I'm just kidding.
He'll just be like, "Hey Tim, what's up?"
Yeah. All right. Number 9. You have to know this character. It's from Portal 2, GLaDOS.
I don't know anything of Portal 2.
Oh man. I'm dropping the ball on these characters right now.
GLaDOS. Oh god, this fan art.
Yeah, don't type in Rule 34, Tim. Come on.
Let's keep it PG rated.
Yeah. Big giant robot. You know,
Yeah. Um,
very quirky, lots of puns.
what would you say on that?
I'd say pass, because she'll kill you, but
Those are details, Jamie.
there's some details there, yeah.
As long as she gives you a good time, you know.
Oh, okay. So is it a smash or a pass?
Pass, because you know, if you're going for robot waifus, why not make it a cat girl looking one or something?
I should have known.
Should have known, indeed.
All right, Tim, this is the last one for you. You know Mortal Kombat? Shiva from Mortal Kombat is the last one here.
So, spell.
Shiva is spelled Sheeva. She has 4 arms and a huge rack.
God. Mortal Kombat. What do you mean? I wouldn't fancy seeing her in my bedroom at night, to be honest. I think I'll kindly pass, but kindly, so she won't kill me.
Make sure it's kindly.
Kind of scared already.
Well, there was only 3 characters that or actually no, there was 4. There's 4 because there was the woman from the B movie, Officer Hops, Daphne, and Player 2. Well, there you go. Maybe we've found.
P2?
Yeah, P2 was number 4. Well, hey, thanks for playing. We really got a new perspective on the mind of Tim.
Should we reverse the roles for once, and I'll give you some names.
Maybe on the next podcast. Maybe on next time.
Aw.
Because right now, I have a burning question for you. And that is...
Let me just say, I'll keep you to that promise.
All right. Yeah, you can. You definitely can.
Now let's get on with that question.
Tim, what happened to the diss track?
Oh God, I felt like this was going to come. I've been working together with someone whose name shall not be named in here, and been taking it very slowly, trying to do it good. Because to be honest, I'm just a scrib. And actually, I was thinking about, like, I had recorded the lyrics on my side, redoing them, because now we have an actual music track to base them off.
Oh.
Well, you scheduled me in for today, and I was like, I was going to do it today, but you know, now you've given me an excuse. Now I can stall it and tell my partner in crime that she should just fix her stuff.
Yeah, okay, blame me like everyone.
Poor Mr. Ferret.
I'm excited for that diss track because, you know, once you launch yours, and if my name is in it, you know there's going to be one firing back at you, so.
You know, I'm quite scared, actually, because you're not the only one who's going to be targeted.
Yeah, you got to watch out. Player 2 launched a pretty nasty, dirty diss track back at all of us. But see, the difference is he asked for it. Like, he's like, shoot me a diss track. And I was like, okay, here you go. So, Tim, what are the origins of Timrulezzz with 3 Z's? What's the origin of the name, and what inspired you to get on YouTube and upload videos?
Oh, that's a quite interesting question there, Jemmy. It's quite simple, actually, the first part of the name. Of, like, how I got to name, that is. I phrased that kind of weird. Like, way back when, I used to play PlayStation with my brother, who's 6 years older, so now he doesn't have any time anymore.
Uh-huh. Cue the sad music.
Yeah. The world's tiniest violin.
Yeah.
We used to play a lot, and then the days came when he bought us a PlayStation 3, and I was done playing on his account as Bramboy2, because his name is Bram. like, I have my email now. At that point, I must have been like, I don't know, 10 or something, or 8. And I said, I have an email now. Let me make my own account. And he's like, yeah, sure. I start making my account. And then I get to the part that says username. And I'm like, oh, like, help me, bro. And he's like, I'll never forget that. He's like, give me a controller and give me 5 seconds. And so we did. And he came up with this name out of nowhere. And I stuck with it.
Little memento.
I've had it for, yeah. I've had it for quite some time now, and I've had some spin-offs like Timrulezzz 12 or a few different names that I use here and there, but this always has been my main username.
Have you ever run into another?
I'm kind of fond of it.
Have you ever run into another Timrulezzz on online?
I don't think so, but I do know that there's people who have like Timrulezzz, but then with a space in between.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm guessing someone already had 2 Z's, so that's why your brother chose 3. That's what I'm guessing.
That could be actually, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's a question that will never be answered.
Let's just say that I'm the most important one.
That's true, yes.
Second part of the question again.
What inspired you to start uploading on YouTube then? Was it just because it was so easy for the PS4 to just upload to YouTube?
Well, it started as that, but it quickly turned into something more. You see, people change a lot, right, Yemmy? And I was like a whole different person than who I am now. And I had trouble getting along with people. At that time, I started doing YouTube. And slowly but surely, I turned into a more social person. Sociable. I don't know the word, really. And I always got terrible luck in social life. Like most of my life, I was either bullied or suppressed by people who only took advantage of me because I had trouble saying no, to be honest. At a point, I uploaded a few videos to YouTube. They were terrible quality, of course. I didn't even have a mic. Suddenly, one day I woke up and I had this dream of a world where people could be themselves, could be happy, could smile, have fun. And I was like, you know what? We could make this so much better. We could make this so much interesting for everyone. This isn't about fame. This isn't about fortune. I just want to create a place where everyone can be happy. And I just kind of started moving that direction from there on out.
Yeah, that's cool. That's good.
Quite a deep story, isn't it?
A little bit. I mean, but I like that, you know? It's good to break out of your shell and get onto a platform that you're not sure about and try and put out a message. It takes a lot of guts, you know?
It quite does, and it takes a lot of getting used to. Like, if you would go back and listen to my first few videos, I'd barely speak. And I would have this monotone voice, like you wouldn't hear anything.
Can you give an example?
It would be so boring. Yemmy, what?
Can you give an example of your monotone voice?
I don't think I can, to be honest. Especially not with this accent.
Yeah, you've grown out of it. All right.
I hope so, at least.
So, Tim, one of the last questions for today was about Black Ops 4, because we both have been playing it. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to play it together because our schedules haven't really lined up too well. But what are your thoughts on Black Ops 4 compared to Call of Duty World War II? Because that was another game that we both really enjoyed playing as well.
I'd choose Black Ops 4 over World War II any day, to be honest.
Oh, get off! No, I'm just kidding.
Fight me.
Yeah.
But no, I liked Call of Duty World War II, but the thing is, these days, even with the amount of modes that it had, I had those moments where I just couldn't find anything to play. I didn't feel like playing anything. And so far, I mean, it's pretty early to say this. I mean, only out for a few weeks, but really had that feeling on Black Ops 4 because it's just like you get tired of a mode in multiplayer, you go play some zombies or some Blackout or even just a different mode because everything is so different.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I mean, especially with like Control, and I mean,
yeah,
the heist mode isn't like amazing, but I mean, it's still
I
like
haven't played it yet.
it's kind of if you ever played Counter-Strike, it's kind of like Counter-Strike where you start with the basic pistol and you have to buy your weapons at the beginning of each round, and you go down kind of like in Blackout mode where you go down but sometimes not out, and people can still pick you up sometimes. It's just it seems a little bit more complicated than it needs to be, but it's still kind of fun to play every once in a while. Same thing with like Blackout, you know. It's fun to play every so often.
Yeah, it sounds really fun.
Yeah.
So, I've had this very interesting match. I think it was yesterday, and it was like I was playing I was alone, right? Because nobody of my friends seemed to want to accept my party invites. Guess they were all either AFK or very busy. But that's beside the point again.
Start playing the sad music again, please.
Oh God. But I decided to play squads for some reason, or quads. And I turned it on Phil, and I dropped in a different place than all the others for some reason, because they marked a place and then just went a complete different direction.
Beautiful.
And then I end up getting somewhat geared and chasing somebody down, and I see him getting into like a truck, and he's like driving away, and I see him leaving behind a squad, and I'm like, oh, I'll take that, I'm chasing. And so I do, and I'm just driving down the road looking in front of me, and suddenly he ambushes me with the truck and hits me off the road.
Oh my
and I
gosh.
just jump off and start spraying in his window of his truck, and he just dies, and I start teabagging him. And then his friend starts sniping at me, and I just ran away.
That's amazing.
It was so good.
Yeah.
And I managed to get third too.
Wow.
Like my whole squad died, and they died at like 50 people or something.
Wow.
And I survived until third place, but then they started ganging up on me.
Yeah, that's what happens. I noticed I had a lot more fun playing duos than solo. Since I don't really have many friends who are online either. Playing duos was a lot of fun because I hadn't played that before, and it was a lot more fun to work with someone and work with a team. You know.
Especially just to get that extra chance of survival.
Yeah, we usually do pretty good.
Over.
And then, some random bullshit happens. Like, one time a guy he threw a cluster grenade randomly through a window and killed us both. And I was like, well, all that work for nothing.
He probably heard you, right?
I think I remember he saw my like back through a wall. You know how like sometimes your stuff can clip through it? And I think he threw it in there because he was like, oh, there he is. which sucks, Definitely sucks.
Yeah. But to be honest, I've also had, maybe just because of the fancy headset you recommended, but I've had a lot of moments where I can just hear footsteps.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Except from if they crouch, then they just disappear.
Yeah, that's kind of, yeah, yeah. Which does suck. Most of the time when I'm walking around a map, I crouch. It's good to catch people by surprise.
Yeah, and especially if you have that movement perk, because I think it makes you like a chat when you're crouched.
Yeah, you literally like run while you're crouching. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's very unnatural to me, but it's so funny.
So Blackout compared to H1Z1, is there any contest between the two?
I'd say H1Z1 is fun, but way more polished. And that just makes it way more enjoyable.
Yeah, I remember playing H1Z1 at the beginning, and the map wasn't loading in, and I was like, okay, where am I gonna land? So I was kind of walking on nothing for like a minute. But have they fixed it? Is it any better now, or?
To be honest, it's okay, but I think for some people, it's like I've been noticing that, for example, Ion and Iovio loaded into the map faster than me.
Okay.
Of getting loot.
Yeah.
And I believe Ion had that thing that you had where the map didn't load into.
Oh, fun times.
Yeah. Especially when he starts getting pissed at the game and just starts shouting in his mic.
That's Ion for you.
I'm slightly scared when he does it.
Yeah, watch out. He might throw his controller all the way to Belgium.
Yeah. Just imagine me walking the dog and just getting hit in the hat with a controller. Oh, Ion is gaming again.
Yeah.
Just toss it straight back.
All right. Well, hey, that's all the time I have today with Timrulezzz with 3 Z's. Remember, all his links will be down below and at the end screen in a few seconds as well. Tim, is there anything else you want to say before we sign off?
I just want to say thank you so much for having me, and Shrek is not a real waifu.
Wow, okay. Well, on that note,
Broke your heart.
on that note, we're going to end the podcast. I am your host, Yemmy the Ferret, and this has been another episode of the Ferret Business Podcast.